Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Art of Listening podcast. I'm Linda Morrison from Ageless Body and Ageless Business. I look after mainly women over 40 whom are really wanting to thrive in life. Transformation is quite a complex thing, and we've worked with lots and lots of people. In this series, The Art of Listening, I've really gone back to basics and I've gone to a space where I'm wanting to let people know why an individual is able to help them. And we all know, or most of us know, in theory at least, that the art of listening is a superpower. It is a fast highway to allow someone that may not know you to trust you with what they are wanting to help you with to get you from A to B. So it's a really, really exciting time for this. I think that depth of information is what people are now circling around to look for with all the advent of very, very fast information. We hope in this series to actually bring it back to the basics of why a practitioner, a person, an organization can actually help you to where you're wanting to go. So I'm really, really, really excited today to talk to Enza Lyons about what she does. She's going to introduce herself. And it can be short or long introduction, Enza, because I'm just going to expand it out probably anyway as to how you arrived at helping people in this way. But welcome.
Oh, thank you for having me, Linda. Um, I'm looking forward to share. And so I've been involved with helping children overcome anxiety, helping parents and teachers and educators to help empower children so that they can overcome anxiety, so that they can boost their test scores and improve in their schoolwork academically and love going to school and bring harmony to the home and in the classroom.
Yes.
So today, what I'd like to do is to help parents move from chaos to calm, to help them overcome these anxieties. And I understand where they're coming from because I'm a mother and a grandmother, and my background, just to share my background, I when I was a young mum with young children. I had two children. I was very busy in the family business and helping out and running, helping with children, and that's very stressful. So it is hard for a lot of mums today, working and also looking after and bringing up the children the best way you can. And I was getting a lot of neck aches and back aches. And after I had my second daughter, I had lower back pain for about 8 months, just persevered with it. I was doing chiropractic and massage, but I found it very temporary. And then someone said, go and see this lady. She might be able to help you. And I came out of that session feeling fantastic and free, no more pain. I thought, I've got to find out more about this. And it was to do
Yes.
with kinesiology. And so as the years went by, then I started to do some training. It was very new in those days. It was over 40 years ago now. And then I learned about brain gym, and that was another educational kinesiology. And my child was having troubles not wanting to go to school. And I knew he was a bright young boy, and I thought, there's got to be something more to this. So I went on the OT at that time. There wasn't much knowledge at that time, and they couldn't offer very much in helping him because he was quite intelligent, but there was just certain things he just couldn't focus, didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
So and so that led to my journey in learning about child development, homeschooling, psychology, neuroscience. I went into all sorts of areas in learning and
Amazing.
understanding. So now I've found a solution that can help parents. So if only I put myself back there and help my children, I would have solved it very
Yeah.
quickly. But
100.
it's been a journey.
Yeah, 100%. I love that. I love hearing about that. And clearly I am also a parent, not a grandparent yet. And with all the study my kids keep doing, I don't think that's going to be happening anytime soon. But I love that you've actually said that because we can never have too many tools and effective tools to help us. I also note, and maybe you can speak into this a little bit professionally and even anecdotally and personally as well, but um, I found over the years and since I became a parent as well, the pressure to be a perfect parent is quite incredible. And if I think back, I grew up with terrific parents, but my mum was a stay-at-home mum. She didn't need to also suit up, however that is, and do a full-time job as well as raise these children. Um, are you fine? And also, it seemed to be when I became a parent, there was this whole movement of being a conscious parent. It's like, oh, not only do I need to be a parent and work, I've now got to be this perfect parent, and whatever that means. And I still wonder about that. Have you found that pressure on parents to have?
I find there's so much anxiety at the moment. There's so much stress and so much people high expectations, and it really goes back to just making life simple. And I found with the work that I did, I'll just share some of the stories that I've had. I
Yeah,
had a mum who had a child that was about 8 years of age. She was so erratic, just temper tantrums, and she was taking her to a psychologist for several months, and still it hadn't fully helped her. And so she heard about me, so I started working with her. And within the first session, this child had calmed down. And after several sessions, she started to get A's and B's in her test scores. And she became self-critical. She stopped being critical of herself. She
yeah,
was just totally calm and a delightful girl. So her mum was so excited, and she couldn't believe the transformation. And over 15, 20 years ago, I've been doing this work, teaching workshops and doing personal consultations for over 35 years now.
yeah,
And I've been trained by many people from overseas, and very wonderful people that I've learned such
yeah.
wonderful skills that I love using, because I get the results very quickly. And I'm very result oriented because I want to get things happening for kids.
Yes,
And
yes,
you can do it in such a short time. Now, I started to get parents that were wanting to help their child, but they were being labeled ADHD, and they didn't want to go the road of drugging their children because of the side effects. And so I started working with them, and within a few sessions, these children were very calm, able to settle. And I'll give you an example. I had Jack. He had been on medication since 4 years of age, and when I saw Jack, he was 12 years of age. So he'd been on it for quite a few years. But his mother was really concerned because he was squabbling and quarreling with his siblings, and he just wasn't doing it well at school, and he was involved in sports but wanted to improve coordination. So it was affecting all areas of his life. And I started working with him. Within 3 sessions, this child was so calm. The mother said, I don't need medication anymore. He is able to control his behavior. He started to get A's in all his subjects. He was doing really well in sports. And then, so he did about 10 sessions, and this child's life just totally turned around. And I rang up a few years later, and just to see how he was going. And she said, oh, he's doing extremely well. He's getting A's in class still. It's just amazing. So what I help parents to do is help set up the neural pathways,
yes,
set the foundations in the neural pathways of the brain using movement and sensory um, and exercises, certain things that helps get the whole brain working. And
yes,
then you set that for life. Because what we're doing is, when these children have gone through either some sort of stress or some trauma, whether it's birth trauma or some sort of things happen, trauma in the family environment, well, that gets them stuck in a
yes, yes,
reflex. And so with the work that I do, we open up and release those stuck
yeah.
states of mind and grow those pathways. And we work with neuroplasticity. The brain can heal itself. And so we just
Oh,
got to
it's
guide it along
fascinating.
movement.
Yeah,
And
fascinating the turnaround. Thank you for saying that and saying it in that way. And part of the reason I'm wanting to do this series is to allow people to find the information in a way that they need to hear it as well. So the more we get to talk about how good we are, how we are able to help people, the more the person that needs you, such as the parent, it can formulate a question to you, you being one person, if it's another situation, another expert, to be able to ask if you can actually help. And I think the most important thing for me and what I actually see is that some of the labels that can be detrimental to a child's growth are actually they actually get to disintegrate a bit so that child can actually grow, because we all know we've all grown up in times of, oh, that's the sporty kid, that's the calm kid, that's the quiet kid, that's the naughty child, and as it goes, and these labels can stick, which means we grow up
That's
with
why I wrote the book. I
good
never think
idea.
that.
Yeah, just put it back
And
towards your
yeah,
face.
because
Back towards your face. Yeah, right beside your face because it's picking up your face. There
oh,
it is, 80. Yeah, that's good. That's
I wrote
fantastic.
that book because I saw so many parents trying to find answers and they were going to pediatricians. And what do? They put them on drugs. And when you start to look at all the list of the side effects, it was horrifying. And I see this with parents and they don't want to do it, but they don't know any other way.
Yes,
And
yeah,
quite frightening. And that's why I wrote the book, and I share the wonderful stories and I share the research behind it.
yes,
And what it all means. And they're really just labels. I don't even like using these labels. They're basically children that are anxious and they're experiencing hyperactivity. They're just showing the signs of anxiety. And I look at the primitive reflexes, and it's called the Moro reflex. What's one of the biggest ones? You know, when a baby around 4 months of age, well, up to 4 months of age, normally when they hear a noise, they have that shock.
yes,
Well, what happens is that primitive reflex in a lot of children stays retained. So therefore they get that anxiety and they can't control it. So
yes,
that's why they're
yeah,
hyperactive. So
yeah,
when I start to integrate their reflexes, suddenly these children are so calm, they're able to sit down and concentrate. They really learn fast. And, you know, their test scores go up, and then there's harmony in the home. You know,
yes.
you're not having
Very
the temper
important.
tantrums. They're able to communicate. And I just get so excited with this work. And then I had parents say, oh, my child isn't ADHD. And I said, okay, I've written another book called
That's good.
Beyond.
Well done.
And I share
Terrific.
wonderful
We'll have you
stories.
working in TV soon, so you're doing well.
And you know, I show wonderful games and the importance of connecting with our children. That's number one. And I show the 7 steps. So it's so important for us to connect to our children because we live in
Yes,
a world where everyone's stuck on their
yes.
screen
Yes,
and
it's
it's
fast,
breaking my heart.
vacuous, and quick, and yeah, the amount of input that we're actually all having is quite incredible. You're absolutely right, and it is a superpower to pick up on people's energies. And can you speak into this a little bit? And as parents, if we've got children whom are anxious, we are trying to learn from their cues. So I think everything can get a little bit, this is what if they're excited, you're excited. If they're unhappy, you're unhappy. I suppose there is a certain element where you're working with the parent to explain something like that. Can you speak into that a little bit? Because think a lot of people might not realize that the focus has become about around what's wrong with the child, which is very concerning to the parent.
Hmm. Um, well, I mean, they're just labels, and I just see them as children that are just anxious.
Yeah,
So I just look at helping them calm down. So I
Yes.
help to be calm and confident. That's why I created the Calm Confident Child system.
Yeah.
And when I
Great.
do one-on-one, I use so many different skills that I've learned and gained over the years, and they're so effective.
Yes.
Amazing educators that I learn it from, and it's helped me as a mother because I used to have a retained Moro reflex. So if I would hear a noise, I would just jump, and
Yes.
that's a retained Moro. And a lot of people have it, and they don't realize it that
Yes.
that is
Yeah.
a retained Moro.
Yeah.
And so when I had work done, this was over 20 years ago now, I did some work with and some program where it just helps you to totally calm down. And I use this a lot with the children. And yeah, so I was able to integrate my Moro so I can hear noises and it doesn't make me jump. But the Moro reflex is there for survival. So if you hear a gunshot, you're going
Yes.
to run. Okay, that's a
Yeah.
survival response. But if it's retained and it's there all the time and you have
Yeah.
this continual anxiety that you can't control and you jump at noises and it affects your emotions and
Yes.
it just affects your communication, affects your balance. And I look at the core, I look at all sorts of areas because a lot of children, they have auditory processing problem. You can talk to them, they're not able to organize that information. And parents get upset. They say, I told you about it. Yeah, but they didn't organize that information in their
Yes.
head. They didn't
Yeah.
know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
oftentimes children get roused at, but really they've heard it, but
Yes.
they haven't organized in their mind. So that's affected by the retained Moro also. So
Yeah.
with the work that I do, once their Moro is integrated, these children listen. They can hear what you're saying. They can organize their thoughts,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
then they can communicate it.
Yeah. 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 I anecdotally and professionally in the work that I've done over the years have had quite a few kids that I know have gone through the brain gym, uh, for want of a better um, process. And the parents have immediately said it's been a great thing for their child. Like immediately, even a small child doesn't now run away, you know,
Exactly.
that listens to stay close to you. It's dangerous if you head towards the road, etc. And
Well,
it
I had a
puts
child that
everyone
was,
under anxiety. It's life-changing.
that's right. But I've also had the opposite where there was a mother that brought her child. She was 2 to 3 years of age and she was so clingy to her mother.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Go. And she wanted to get her to go to kindy, but she couldn't. She was clingy to her all the time. Couldn't even take her to the playground for her to run and play. She would just be clingy and cry and wash her hair. She would cry, biting her nails all the time. And she said she just didn't know what to do. The OT told her that she's got fear paralysis, reflex problem, and they didn't know what to do. So I
Yeah.
started working with her. And within the 2 sessions, this little girl was running out and playing, going in the playgrounds. And then
Yes.
eventually, after a few more sessions, she was ready for kindy.
Yeah.
And she
Yeah.
could get there
Yeah.
and play. So you can have the extreme.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Thank you so, so much. This has been amazing, and clearly, I'm going to sort of let you. Well, clearly, you can find Enza's book. Tell people, and we'll have it in the description and notes as well, about a couple of links to you, and tell us how the best way is to get in touch with you. Which social media or email? How's best to get in touch with you, Enza?
Well, just a phone call. I'm happy. So my phone number is 0413 697 692, or you can make an appointment at calendly.com/Enza Lyons. They could do that. But if they want to contact me through Facebook, they can. And I'm on
Yeah.
Facebook. So I've got several ways that people can contact me or go on the internet and they'll see my name.
Yeah, it's a terrific name. There's less Enza Lyons than there are Linda Morrisons out there, I think. So what I'll do is I'll put those in the show notes. It's been a pleasure. It's definitely an area where I'm extremely interested. In fact, I've got some work coming up next week where we're setting up like a soccer clinic to help anyone have a go, in certain areas. And I love that sort of thing because it's important to keep on finding things that you yeah, can occupy yourself that are simple, that are off screens, all those sorts of things as well. Thank you so much, Enza, and I look forward to hearing more about what work that you do this year. It's exciting.
Thank you so much for having me.
Welcome.
Okay.